All right, so the government shutdown is inevitable. It's already kicked off, right? And the backfiring on the Democrats is insane. Not only that, a real civil war has kicked off within the party between the power players, one from your traditional left-wing radical Democrat, and then the other side from the far left radical Democrat who is attempting to take over the party by a coup. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you clips not only of the Democrat leadership being called out finally on national television, but also you're going to hear the exchange and the war of words between the Democrats, heads of each faction, the traditional centralists and the far left radicals, which they're all far left, but you got the super duper far AOC wing. Then you got your Schumers, which are not really radical, but they're afraid of the radical base, so they end up bending the knee. But this video will blow your mind. So this is going to be nothing more than you getting the opportunity to gloat, looking at the as silly and how ignorant these folks are, trying to push free healthcare for illegal immigrants, but being called out for it, not by Fox News, but by other left-wing outlets. Let's check this out. So as you see right here, even federal agencies are blaming the Democrats for the shutdown because it is a clean, continuing CR, meaning this CR, because they keep talking about the big, beautiful bill, those haven't even taken place yet. It just passed a couple months ago. This current level of spending is at the Biden level of spending, which is still too high, but it's what you call a clean CR. Republicans haven't added anything. Nobody took anything out. It's to be maintained for 7 weeks while they get through negotiating and throwing out what's not wanted and what's not needed, to come to a good medium. And the Democrats keep talking about COVID-style Obamacare credits. Understand what that means. That's more taxpayer dollars going in to subsidize free healthcare for illegal immigrants and free healthcare for able-bodied Americans. Now, for our seniors, for the disabled, we totally get it. Nobody minds spending for them. But what about the millions of able-bodied people we know that are on welfare, that are on Medicaid, that are on SNAP program? Well, SNAP programs do help the children, but how many of those parents are able-bodied people choosing not to work? So yes, the child benefits by default of the parents' laziness. So this whole restructuring will take some of the weight off of our Medicare and Medicaid system, make sure that they're funded well enough for our seniors who have paid their dues and paid into the system and deserve some type of assistance and help. And it gets illegal immigrants who aren't even supposed to be here off of our system. So let's get off into this. So I'll get back to this article now. In this very first clip, check out Hakeem the Dream Jeffries as Jake the Snake Tapper is going to call this man out and expose him on CNN. And y'all know, like I know, CNN has acts like nothing more than an arm for the Democrat Party. But I will give them credit and I don't do that often at all. But for the last week or so, they have not been letting these Democrats get on and spew their negative BS. Somebody at the top of CNN is trying to slowly bring them back to the center because they were bleeding viewers. But check out Hakeem the Dream Jeffries, Timo Obama, as Jake Tapper calls him out. And let's look at how he dances around this.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of healthcare subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is
it's a lie.
It's a lie. But what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill, knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that when you retake the House, you can get whatever you want passed. But at this point,
well, what we're doing is fighting to protect the health care of the American people against the largest cut to Medicaid ever. 14 million American citizens are going to lose their health care as a result of what Republicans did.
You're talking about the subsidies again, but I'm talking about the non-citizens.
No, I'm talking about the Medicaid cuts. That document that you just showed me, that was the one big ugly bill. 14 million Americans are going to lose access to health care. Their hospitals, their nursing homes, their community-based health clinics are closing because of what the Republicans have done.
He's lying. Now, one of the things the Democrats want to do is they want to repeal the $50 billion that goes to rural hospitals. How is that helping? And he keeps saying 14 million. It is not 14 million Americans that will lose health care. It is millions of illegal immigrants. And The Obamacare subsidies don't even expire until December 31st, 2025, months away. And there's a whole other plan for them to be able to address that. So the Democrats want $1.1 trillion added to the budget. They want $500 million for NPR, or they don't for to help publications, $500 million for publications like NPR, like PBS, and they want, and you notice how Jake Tapper called it out. They don't call them illegal immigrants. No Democrat ever uses that term. They call them undocumented. But here's what they have it worded. Lawful citizens is what they have. Lawful citizens will be able to get free health care. And it's like, what does that mean? They're not an American. They don't have a visa. They don't have a green card. But since they're here, that makes them lawful because the Democrats say so. No, it is a play on words. It's a play on words. Now, the Obamacare subsidies he's talking about, that will affect 14 million, which includes illegals, because you hear that they count these asylum seekers and those other people, they count them as Americans to the Democrat. That's why they keep saying, this bill and we want free healthcare for Americans. They consider illegal immigrants more of an American than the constituents in their own cities. This is who this is about. And he's called out on it. He says, oh, no. And Jake Tapper said, no, we're not talking about subsidies, because he knows 14 million people weren't going to be impacted by this. It's illegal immigrants that are impacted by this. This has nothing to do with Americans that were getting Obamacare subsidies. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. Now, check out this. Jesse Waters did a short story on what's happening to the party and who's really taking over. Check this out, and I'm going to follow it up with what Nancy Pelosi had to say. Check this out right here, because it's going to blow your mind. AOC looked like she's putting her big woman clothes, her big girl clothes on, taking over. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app and I'll never ask you for a super chat. But you hitting that like button, it does help spread the video out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube is having issues with notifications, but when you select all, YouTube will make sure you get notified the next time I upload new videos.
Buckle up. The Democrats are staging another coup.
I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly.
AOC is announcing, I'm captain now, and told Schumer to walk the plank. Chuck, did you hear that?
The Schumer shutdown. What do you say about that name? Senator Schumer, can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Senator Schumer, can you hear me? I don't think Senator Schumer can hear me right now. Maybe the government shutdown included audio on Capitol Hill.
Do we even need to hear from Chuck? Because AOC is the shot caller. She told Chuck to shut it down, and he did. He shut it down so he can keep his job.
Chuck Schumer is terrified she's going to get a primary challenge from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The reason why the American people's government is shut down is because Chuck Schumer is listening to the far left radicals in his own party because he's terrified of a primary challenge.
The White House posted this picture of Schumer as a hot dog. Don't worry, it's kosher. We also hope Chuck grills dogs better than burgers.
Now, and you remember when he did that burger stunt and come to find out the grill wasn't on and those burgers are raw and he put cheese on them? This was for like the 4th of July thing. The Democrats are so fake. Now, you just heard that AOC with her neck popping and swagging, saying that her office is open and they can come and talk to her. So the Democrat Party is taken over by AOCs. And this is where Jasmine Crockett, she wanted to get in and fit in, but she's so radical, AOC no can't rock with her. But it's the AOC, the Bernie Sanders wing, the millionaires. But AOC popped her neck like she's a girl from the Bronx, even though she's a suburban girl playing the role of this neck-popping Hispanic Puerto Rican. But in reality, she's a suburban private school girl fronting like she's tough, when really she's just a left-wing radical extremist that just so happens to be attractive. And she just talks so crazy and with so much that she lulls those people in her area in to believe that she's fighting for them. But look at the Bronx. Look at her district. It's worse than when she got there. But now everybody's looking at AOC saying AOC is calling the shots. Let's check out what good old Nancy had to say about that, because she's been the queen bee for how long? Let's see how she feels about getting pushed out. Check this out.
Under President Trump, what would you say about Hakeem Jeffrey's leadership during this moment?
I think he's been great. The last time the government shut down, the president took credit. He said, I will be proud to shut down the government. Donald Trump, I'm proud to shut down the government. He said that is a matter of record. If you want to, you can find that out by seeing what he said when we left the Oval Office. I think Hakeem has been right on in terms of it. I wish more people would be aware of it, and you're the ambassadors to the public, so hopefully you will cover his greatness and all this.
Speaker Emerita, there was a thought from the Republicans that AOC is directing this, and she said that senators are welcome to go to her office directly. Is she driving that?
Why are you saying such a ridiculous thing?
I'm just quoting what AOC said. She said go to her office directly. Do you think there's any credibility to that?
Directing this. She's wonderful. She's a real team player and the rest of that. You started by saying Republicans saying that she's directing this. She is not. Hakeem Jeffries is. And this takes a lot of experience, a lot of unity from the caucus in terms of the point of view. And that's what this is. She's an articulate spokesperson for her point of view. Hakeem Jeffries is leading it.
Nancy did not like that question. And you know what? Remember when President Trump said that he would shut the government down? If anybody remembers, the reason why President Trump said that he was willing to shut the government down is because he wanted a border wall that the Democrats stonewalled him on. And he said, I'll be happy to shut the government down for our border security. And if I find that clip, I'm going to put it in rather than let the Democrats spew the BS like they do.
Get my wool. None of us have said.
You want to know something?
You've said
okay,
it.
You want to put that on my...
You said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
we
tell you
disagree.
what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it down for border
But we
security.
believe you shouldn't.
They're pouring into our country. We have to have border security. We have to have a wall as part of border security. And I don't think we really disagree so much. I also know that, Nancy's in a situation where it's not easy for her to talk right now, and I understand that, and I fully understand that. We're going to have a good discussion, and we're going to see what happens. But we have to have border security.
Mr. President, please don't characterize the strength that I bring to this meeting as the leader of the House Democrats who just won a big victory.
Elections have consequences, Mr. President.
Let me just say.
That's right, and that's why the country is doing so well.
What the president is representing in terms of his cards over there are not factual. We have to have an evidence-based conversation about what does work, what money has been spent, and how effective it is.
And as a matter of fact, while I'm talking about that, I want to take a second out, just give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Chapter, because right now seniors are looking at what's going on, government shutdowns, and they're concerned. What's going to happen with my Medicare? What about my protections? My mother went through the exact same thing. She was 65 years old. She was looking for healthcare help and Medicare help. And it seems like everybody that she spoke to was just trying to sell her stuff rather than help her. And luckily, companies like Chapter exist because what Chapter does, they give people like my mother an unbiased perspective, making sure that our seniors have the best Medicare plan. If you have what you need and what you have is the best, so be it. But it's least worth checking into, because it would suck to find out you've been paying for a plan that no longer covers your prescriptions, that no longer has your doctors in network. So it's less than 20 minutes, and seniors are saving as much as $1,100, $1,100 a year. And I'm sure you could find better things to do with $1,100 in your pocket rather than handing it over to somebody else. So make sure that you check out Chapter. You can call the number on the screen, or you can visit the website at askchapter.org/realpolitics. And if you call the number or if you visit the website, make sure you tell them that Brian sent you. But looking at what's going on with these Democrats, looking at this infighting that they got going on right now, check out what Maxine, the Queen Waters, had to say when she was asked about the government shutdown being over illegal immigrants. Check out this classic meltdown by this woman.
Do Democrats want to prioritize the health care of illegal aliens over a government shutdown? Because if the government does shut down, American
Excuse me, stop it right there. We're not prioritizing. What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and healthcare is at the top of our agenda.
But are Democrats demanding healthcare for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding healthcare for everybody. We want to save lives. We want to make sure that healthcare is available to those who would die, but having the help of their government.
So you're good with the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to people who aren't American citizens?
Well, you keep That's what you're pushing on. What you're trying to do is you're standing here and you're trying to make me say that somehow we're going to put non-citizens over Americans. Quit it. Stop it. This is the kind of journalism we don't need. You're divisive. No, you're not. You're being divisive. No, please. You don't need to ask that question. You're just trying to get controversy here. You're not going to get it from me. We want to save health care for all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
I think she was a little extreme by saying because of people who would die without help from the government. You see how the Democrats think? Government is everything. They literally think that government is God. No, government is not God. Government should not dictate our lives. Government should not step in everything. As a matter of fact, government sucks at running businesses. Government sucks at putting together infrastructure. Government can maintain things that are built by intelligent men or women in the private sector. Then they're taught how to maintain, but the government sucks at creating anything. And that's why whenever the Democrats are in charge, we bleed money. None of their so-called good feeling projects ever work because they start off from the foundation with a failure mentality, which is let's just throw money at it and that'll fix everything. It doesn't. It all starts with a mentality. It all starts with a belief. And then you can throw all the money in the world at something, but if the mind ain't right and the belief ain't there, it'll be squandered like the trillions of dollars that have been squandered under other Democrat leadership. Now, check out where Hakeem the Dream Jeffries, Timo Obama, went on Squawk Box, CNBC, just the other day and was called out again. And I got to tell you, my man Joe Kearney at CNBC, I don't even know why Hakeem Jeffries goes on his show because every time as of late, he's been bringing it to him. Check this out. And then right after this clip, let me show you where the Democrats really failed. At Wednesday night, when the government shutdown started, they decided they were going to live stream the shutdown and they were going to show how many people are in support of the Democrats. Wait till you see that after this clip. Check this out.
I want to shut the government down. That's not our approach. But Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. If the government shuts down, it's their decision to do it.
But this is a continuing resolution, and it's going to happen. All these things that you want to do, there's no way any of them are going to be negotiated by the time this happens. And if you shut down the government, you last time, Democrats point out, you lose FEMA, you lose troop pay, you lose all these different things that are so important to Democrats when they're on the other side of this. If you're not going to get all these other things settled, you need to do the CR to get the government funded and then return to this and do it in the normal course of business for Congress.
We don't want to shut the government
down. As you
down.
see, even Joe, nobody is believing the BS that the Democrats are saying. Even Joe said, listen, man, none of this stuff is going to happen. Y'all want free healthcare for illegal immigrants? It's not happening. It's a non-negotiable. Now, as you heard me say, the Democrats decided that they were going to do a live stream and show what type of support they got from the American people as they push back against Trump. And guess what? The live stream failed miserably. Check this out. Hakeem Jeffries humiliated ends broadcast after just dozens, and you heard it right, dozens tune in to his government shutdown live stream. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries attempted to wage a digital war over the government shutdown early Wednesday morning, but his live stream stunt backfired in humiliating fashion. Jeffries promised Democrats would broadcast the shutdown until almost the bitter end, Politico's Adam Wren reported. Instead, viewers saw stops, starts, and glitches. At times, according to Wren, just a few dozen viewers were watching the YouTube stream. Republicans immediately mocked the failed spectacle, which featured a rotating cast of Democratic House members and influencers. Democrats, meanwhile, were left embarrassed as some admitted their messaging idea was poorly executed. Jeffries streamed live on YouTube 5 separate times across Tuesday and Wednesday. The total from those streams amounted to less than 50,000 total combined views. So you got all of these Democrat members, the House Minority Speaker, and all of this, and Nancy Pelosi spoke, and all of these so-called power players. Wait till you hear the number that showed up, ultimately, total combined. So the total views across Tuesday and Wednesday are less than 50,000. Wait till you hear the views of the live stream. Democrats allowed the shutdown in part to demand health care for illegal aliens. When Republicans refused to cave, Jeffries and his allies took to YouTube and other platforms to complain, but almost no one tuned in. Wren described the production as occasionally awkward, repetitive, if mostly on message. He added that it carried the feel of a throwback telethon with none of the charisma or surprise. Few frontline Democrats even showed up on camera. Only 4 of 26 members in competitive districts actually participated. So only 4 out of 26 even took place that are in competitive districts. Even Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, a Democrat from New York, stayed away from the spectacle. And she essentially lives on social media. We know AOC loves to be on the camera. She stayed away from it. Wren reported Democrats failed to field anyone live between 2:30 and 5:30 a.m. Nobody watched live for 3 hours. Instead, airing recorded reruns of earlier remarks in which they slammed Republicans. As Jeffries' representative declined to comment on that embarrassment when offered a chance to address it by Wren. Oh, it says a Jeffries representative declined to comment on that embarrassment when offered a chance to address it by Wren. Meanwhile, one person close to Jeffries acknowledged reality. Trump is going to do something crazy as soon as the government shuts down. And that'll be the story. One House Democratic aide said, numbers do not lie, even if Democrats do. Their live stream was supposed to project strength and unity against an administration they recklessly portray as out of touch. Instead, it showcased the weakness and desperation of a party that's in big trouble. We are committed to truth and accuracy. Okay, that's it. So the total views of the live stream, I'll show it to you, was around, if I'm not mistaken, let me just go real fast. I apologize, y'all. Live stream. We go to Hakeem the Dream, Jeffries live stream. I want to say it was 256 total. They have a, oh, here we go. 152 was at its peak. Total, it's been like 200 and something. That was 9 hours. Okay, this is the Democrat Party. Got Hakeem Dream Jeffries and Nancy, the drunk Pelosi, allegedly. You've got all these other radicalized left-wing extremists all taking the podium and slamming Republicans, supposed to get the people hyped. They couldn't even draw 1,000 people in. Someone like my videos get more views than the government, the Democrat politicians, than they could put in. My videos draw more views than theirs. But they act like they got the American people's support. No, that's the lamestream media that spews propaganda and acts like there's so much support with the Democrats. It's not. All of these ICE detention protests, if you look at them, their faces are covered. They're young, white, and black people that are unemployed and being paid. Even at one protest, only one person there had a job. One guy just got off work at Taco Bell. That was everybody else's job. There is no support for the Democrats. This shutdown is the Democrats' fault. And finally, we got the lamestream media calling them out. My son is in the military. This impacts my family directly. But I'd much rather subsidize my son right now and help him out, pay his bills while this shutdown is going on than to give the Democrats a chance to give illegal immigrants free health care, to add $1.1 trillion to our deficit, and to give $1 to those left-wing radical outlets like NPR or PBS. Screw that. Because in administrations in the past, the Republicans would fold and give the Democrats what they want. But then when they're in power, the Democrats don't fold. They don't bend. They make the Republicans bend. And so now that we're in power, we're going to bend. Nope. We got a strong president, and he's not bending the knee at all. The Democrats did this shutdown, and I'm glad finally the American people are starting to see it. And this is where Elon Musk comes in, and we got to give a big shout out to Elon. Agree with him or not agree with him. If it wasn't for X being available, where we could share information without the fear of being censored, without the fear of being blocked or blacklisted, imagine how many untruths would still be going on without the people being able to share it. Even with President Trump's Truth Social, that's not enough, because a lot of Democrats are on X too. Regardless of what they say about Elon, they're on there too. And they might not want to acknowledge it, but I know they sit up and they watch these things and they're getting weary. But they know if they try to flip, they'll get eaten up by their friends, their base. You know how the Democrats are. If you're free thinking, they'll attack you. On the Republicans, if you're free thinking, you're welcome. As a matter of fact, anybody that's trying to just be groupthink in the Republican side doesn't fit in, because we don't operate like that. If we all can agree with it and we all see the benefit, then we'll do it. But if not, and somebody doesn't, and another, they're going to speak up. And that's what makes this America. So I just wanted to bring you this just to show you the blame is already on the Democrats. It's already backfiring. I don't think this is going to last long at all, because think about it. Whose base are more of the people that are on welfare, Republicans or Democrats? Whose base are more of the people with the SNAP programs, Republicans or Democrats? Whose base has the most government employees, Republicans or Democrats? You see what I'm saying? They're hurting their base. A large majority of their base are on Medicaid. A large majority of their base are on these welfare programs. A large majority of their base are in government jobs. So this is a Democrat shutdown that's really going to crush a lot of Democrats. But we'll see. Right now, it's not going right for them. So I just wanted to bring you this. If you've hung out and you've watched the video up to this point, I want to thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.